Ooh,
Does
yes,
it? Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, look at that.
This poster is worth as much as the game.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a $20 insert because you can only get that.
Well, this is just an oddball game that you don't see too often in the wild. And gameplay. Oh man, I got Donald Trump screaming over there.
See, it sucks.
Is it married to Double
Yeah.
Jump? Yeah.
But
Still love that, Rich.
that
I'd still
case
pair it
swap.
with the turtles
Yeah,
or something.
yeah,
No, I
yeah,
wouldn't.
yeah.
That'd be unethical.
That K-Swap, baby. When you get Konami with... This is one of your few cheap Konami games. Capcom, you've got a few to choose from.
Yeah, most people should. This is some intermediate level knowledge, even beginner level knowledge. But I could see some people not really being too Genesis savvy and knowing that Capcom had their proprietary cases. Konami also had their proprietary cases there. Namco also did their own cases. So they'll be branded on the inside. And just like the build of them will be kind of uniquely their own. Like you can almost kind of... Chris could probably tell from the outside of a Genesis case if it's a Konami.
The late release Konami ones, they have a weird matte finish to the plastic overlay.
Yep.
It gets wrinkled and people always bitch about it.
Yeah, it always wrinkles the insert because of the way the clamshell was
And then
designed.
you gotta be like, no, every Sparkster is wrinkled like that.
Just neat how this was such an NES beloved classic. And here it is on the Genesis. And I was looking at gameplay and it seemed really, really well done. Great audio samples. Like I could see people just being super nostalgic about this game from the Genesis days. Super rad cover art. And you just don't see it too often. It's very cheap right now. So this one seems like it was fresh out of the shrink wrap. Really nice. As I drop it. But yeah, what this will probably end up doing is getting cannibalized for a heavier title for Turtles or something.
10 years of that game getting cannibalized. Good luck getting a nice one.
That's how it's gonna be. Yeah.
When I first discovered that little gem of a swapper, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy every."
Oh yeah, just buy.
There's none, man.
Yeah, because it's
People
probably
already beat me to the punch.
This is rarer than Hyperstone Heist. This is probably as rare as Bloodlines. It's just not the right title to be sought after.
That poster in there, man. Ooh.
Yeah, little details. What Chris is talking about is like little details like this when you're missing it from your Hyperstone Heist, let's say. Like if you can cannibalize that from a different Konami game.
Hyperstone Heist, and not to get too off topic, and
Bloodlines?
Sunset Riders, they used an earlier purple poster.
Okay.
This is in very few games, this late release white poster.
But it is used in a heavier...
It is used in Bloodlines.
In Bloodlines, okay. So this one... If your clamshell Bloodlines is missing a poster, you can just increase the value of your Bloodlines by more than what this entire CIB costs by just like, pulling this out and pairing it with your Bloodlines.
Your Musha reg card or your
seismic reg card from Musha
or your what's his name? Punisher? Your Punisher reg card?
Yeah, I need to get a Capcom reg card for my Punisher. I need a better case too.
I have been slacking.
You just gotta buy Super Street Fighter on Genesis.
Yeah, buddy.
Did I get two of them? Oh yeah. So another Horned Owl for the collection. Starting to get a good stack of those. I've paid no more than like 28 shipped for a Horned Owl. They are just not surfacing on eBay. Very scarce. And this is people that did Sly Cooper and Spyro, Insomniac. This is their first console game that they ever put out. It's like really good Doom-inspired FPS.
Fit, by the way. Look at that.
Oh yeah. Yep, 64 full set CIB is becoming a hot thing. So certain games I'll just find for cheap listed, and I'll snag them.
They're getting nasty.
Chris and I do a lot of deals with local guys too, so a lot of oddball stuff that I grab that doesn't seem to fit the norm, fit what I'm into. It'll be because I've got other people in mind, people locally that are full setting CIB 64. I'll just grab stuff looking out for them.
That's another good one. I'm surprised that local stores know to ask, like, not 5 or 10 on that.
Yeah, this one's neat. The only problem with it is it really needed a light gun peripheral for N64 for this to really play right. It's an on-rail shooter, but it's not like Star Fox. It's more like a Horned Owl, more like a Time Crisis-y kind of game. So it just sucks having to move your cursor around with the joystick. But not a bad game. Kind of obscure. Not too rare, but it's cheap. So I love the cover art too. That's another thing I'm a sucker for. Is just good Good looking game. So Chemco game, knife edge, it's cheap. So why not? Us dealers look at games a little differently than gamers. Obviously, you know, there's your collectors that collect games that are just good to play type games, and those are your best collectors, your gamer / collectors.
This is an Eric.
And Chris and I buy a lot of crap that isn't so much good to play, but just an Eric snipe, huh? Yeah, empties there. They seem to be kind of rejuvenated,
Just got
a little bit, kind of bent.
Push them into shape, throw them in some box protectors.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot you can do.
Though. I'm surprised. Usually these kind of buys come in like in a freaking bubble mailer.
You know what he paid for this?
Probably $10.
I think it was around like 20.
That's
plus
insane,
a little bit of shipping.
Especially with that. I mean, that's in really nice condition overall.
Oh, is there no cover for the yellow manual? Maybe it's just folded a certain way.
Yeah, it's missing the cover.
Is it?
It's in the front page. Yep.
Bama. It's alright. Cheap.
You probably have a few of those laying around.
Are these my Plundars?
A
couple of.
And this box got some good material. I get so excited over free packing material. I know.
Yeah. God, I love that Kai katana. I wish I had more. I have a lot of death smiles, but I think it's my first copy of a Kai katana that I've been able to put aside. I really want to play that game. It looks awesome. That's how I'd rack and stack the 360 shmups. It's probably like a Kai katana death smiles are two greatest ones. Otomodius, it's got like a weird like 8-bit shooter kind of charm to it. Much slower pace, definitely not bullet hell, so a very traditional shooter. That's kind of charming about it, actually. An interesting game.
What is this?
Alright, so this one I can kind of talk about 360 shmups when I talk about this one. Another 360 shooter-ish kind of game is called Wartech Cinco no Ronde or something like that. But it's the main title is called Wartech on 360, and it's like a 1v1 bullet heli shooter where you're like basically fighting a boss and you're constantly like roaming around him. Where you guys are on like a 2D plane and you're just bullet hell shmupping at each other. You versus the enemy, or you can do PvP where it's you versus another person. I should be holding this one time up. So that's Wartech on the 360, and then on the PS4 they did a I don't know much about it, but I just found out about it and I found it pretty cheap. But Genso Rondo Bullet Ballet, Bullet Ballet. I don't have the game for it. I just got the collector's edition packaging, but it's kind of like a follow-up to Wartech on 360, where it's again a 1v1 PvP shmup game. Just interesting.
Alright, is this a case swapper or because it's slightly obscure?
I love that game. Yeah, I just got it on the cheap. I paid $30 shipped for it. Sega Touring Car, and I think it's my favorite racing game on the Saturn. This game's incredible. Incredible racing game for Sega Saturn. Just gives you a great sense of speed. This game's really dried up. This in Manx TT on the Saturn. A lot of those Sega first-party games that used to be of a genre that wouldn't be very collectible, they're getting very dried up on eBay, and people are starting to pay up for them because they're such good games. Just a genre that's, you would think like realism just keeps improving, so why would anybody want to go back to Sega Saturn to play these racers? But if you just get your hands on it for a second, you'll see why. It just screams mid-90s, great soundtracks, great sense of speed, and the polygons are almost endearing. They're just like charming.
Mama Jason loves those kind of games.
Does it? Yeah, I agree with them completely. Like super fun, cool. Not trying to be realistic, instead just trying to be arcade fun. So Sega Touring Car is probably my favorite on the Saturn. I sold this, Chris, loaded with, actually bought this as I was going to sell. This loaded with High Velocity, published by Atlas.
Yes.
There's an Atlas racer called High Velocity, and it's not as good as these Sega made racers, but I managed to sell that Sega Touring Car plus plus high velocity for $90 plus shipping. So they paid like $100 for this game plus high velocity. So these racing games are on the up for
High
Saturn.
Velocity was definitely a 2030 for a while.
Yeah, you know, it's made by Atlas. It's not a bad
5 of them.
32-bit racer. And here's a bunch of my sealed Pirates Plundar from that one dude on eBay that's got a shit ton of them. So Metal Jesus put out his video, and I went to buy up a bunch, and turns out you couldn't buy this guy out. He's got a warehouse full of them.
We both tried.
So I'm probably stuck with Pirates
attacked
Plunder.
Amazon. Hey, it'll be alright.
Jason set me up for failure with Pirates Plunder. Yeah, here's my.
It's Majesco. They got a good little tracker.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's like I guarantee you that's a one dude on Earth that has backstock of it and everything.
That video hits because that video until he does another one, as it climbs up to like 200,000 views, it only takes 50 people for him to be out.
Eventually it'll be dried up and I'll be able to flip these for 30 a pop maybe. That's the idea. If I can be selling these for 30 bucks a pop, I'll be making good money.
Great little convention stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I could always be moving these because it's a fun game. I really do like this game. It's part of why I freaked out about him doing a Hidden Gems video on it. It's super fun.
Factory error.
Oh shit, that's Majesco for you.
Oh,
cheap ass Mexican company.
Dude, as a reseller, a dealer, I've come to really like